Sound good? I'm writing a paper on the effects of the Stamp Act and the Revolutionary War for a class in American history. Alright, so first I'm going to pull up Google Chrome, do some research. Okay. Now I always start out doing a Google search for whatever I need. And I basically see what there is to offer. Alright, so I'm going to click on this link because it is, it seems like a reliable source. It's an edu source. It's not a .com. It means it's an educational site, and it's typically a relatively accurate source. Let me go down and find what I need to find. Alright, so this gives you a little bit of information. It's nothing too special. I think it's more just telling you what exactly it is. So yeah, it's pretty basic, so I don't think it's much of what I need. Alright. So I can come here. So it's coming to the American Revolution Stamp Act, MassachusettsHistory.org. Hopefully this will give me some information about Boston. Alright, so this looks pretty good. This looks a little better, a little more information. Look at that. Okay, so this is something I can use. This looks like something that I would get a little bit of information for, and I could probably cite this pretty well. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy that. Come down here and find a Word document. There it is. Open that up, and I'm going to paste that link right there. Alright. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to go back. Alright, so the next thing that I will do is I'm just going to modify my search a little bit. Thing is with Google, sometimes you just have to modify certain phrases in there and it works much better. Alright, so come here. See, as you can see, we have a whole number of different internet sites that I can use. There we go. We can look at that. Libcom.org. Alright. There we go. This is fantastic. This looks like a very good source, actually. This might be one of the better ones that I can find. So this just gives you like a step-by-step of what's going on. And, oh wow. Even cites wow, it cites primary sources too. So this is definitely something I can use, and it goes down a great deal. So there's a whole load of information. So this is definitely something I want to save. So I'm gonna copy that, and I'm gonna paste that right in there. Back on my Word document. Alright, so I found a couple basic information, basic websites for that have the information I need. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a library source, and I'm going to research some scholarly sources that are things that I would typically cite for my my paper. Alright, so here, as you can see, like this is what I can use for scholarly journals right there. I can click that box. So if I search, I'm going to search basically the exact same thing that I searched before. And that was how the Stamp Act instigated the Revolutionary War, right there. So I can just copy and paste that right there. Right there. Now this is searching EBSCOhost, and EBSCOhost is probably the best research tool that I've used throughout high school and college. Alright, so here you can have someone read it to you. You can, I mean, look at this is absolutely perfect. So this is probably what I'd use for the duration of my paper for the most part. I mean, I'm going to go back because it only gave me one real link, but it is a scholarly source because I mean, and it is a full text. I didn't even click full text, but it's a full text, and this is the scholarly journal, and this is exactly what I need. This basically tells me the exact same things as these other websites here, which gave me a rudimentary understanding of what it was I was trying to research. And this EBSCOhost, it gives me the best possible source to use. So I'm going to come back here. I mean, it's kind of a specific thing, so I'm going to make it a little more general. And I'm just going to say, oh shoot, go this way. Stamp Acts. Scholarly sources only. Alright. So as you can see, like I went the more general route, and it's given me a substantially larger pool to work with. Alright, so here's something. That's something interesting. Oh, actually, one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and I'm hit full text only. Alright. So, right here, this is exactly what I need. This is the Stamp Act Congress. This will give me more information on what came from the Stamp Act. So this is something that I can still use. So I'm going to come up here, I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste it. Alright, but yeah, this is basically all I'm going to do. I'm going to go through here, and I'm going to go up and down these different sites, and if something appeals to me, I'm basically going to click on it. And, I mean, I can cite the sources, but say I like one a lot, and I'm going to say this one right here. Copy and paste that back into the browser. Alright. Say I like this. I'm going to say the end of the 7 Years' War was known as the American-French and Indian War, resulted in the final expulsion of France from the continent of India. Alright. Okay, so if I want to cite that, this is what I do. I just copy paste that right down there. And I'm going to stick those quotations on there. Now, go like that basically. I click that right there because I'm basically citing the source. I'm sticking a little number up there. Right there. I gotta turn that off. Now, this is something I'm assuming is going to be in the paper, and I'm not basically I'm just going to stick it in there just for an example. All right, so as you can see, that's what it is, and what I'm going to do now to cite that source is I will go to EasyBib there. Now, this right here is a scholarly journal. So I cite a journal. Wrong thing. Copy, and I'm going to paste that. Hmm, that's strange. Oh, I think I might have done it wrong. I might have tried to cite it as a website. That's what it is. It's a journal. Now these are all the different uh, source journals that entail what I just posted in there. Mine is from Funk and Wagnall's New World. Let's try that right there. Nope. Hmm. Do not seem to. Hmm. I'm gonna try database. Huh. Alright, so I might just do it myself. It's not gonna want to do it for me. Alright, so it is. Is that it?
I'm writing a paper on global warming for a class in biology. The first thing I would do to gather information about global warming is to go to a search engine like Google and type in scholarly analysis on global warming. And then there are some websites, and I would look through them and pick out a reliable source. And I'm going to choose the livescience.com source for key arguments for global warming. And then I would read through the article and decide whether or not it's a scholarly source or if it's just someone who made up stuff. I would use this source because it has quotes from other scientists, like a research team by Roy Spencer from the University of Alabama, 1992, that was a critic of global warming, and he has a quote here by him. And it says that the research team then published a paper and did an analysis. So I would likely use some of this information. But the first half of the article seems to be more narrative and not actually factually based, so I probably wouldn't use much of this one. And then I'd go back to my search engine and search something like global warming effects on society. And there's an article from the EPA.gov, which is a reliable source because it's a government website. And I would read through it and find some points where I would be able to make an argument based off of what they say, cite some of the factual content they present, and then give my own analysis on what I think about their facts. And then they have references at the bottom of the page, so I can click on their references and look at what these articles say about global warming. And there's some analysis on how city residents and urban infrastructure have distinct sensitivities to climate change impacts. So I could reword that and make it my own thought, and then use their examples and cite sources and give my analysis on what I think about the examples of heat waves being amplified in cities cause cities to absorb more heat during the day than rural areas. So cities are more densely populated. And after I've found all of the information I need to use from this article, I can go back and look for some more articles that would help me. And I keep up with all the websites that I use by copying the URL at the top and saving it in a Word document or a separate Word document from my paper so I can make sure I keep going back and looking. And then I'd likely search the global warming effects on animals for my biology class, or specifically reptiles, or the common one, polar bears. So I search the global warming effects on reptiles, and I come up with another government article about reptiles and climate change, which would likely be a reliable article to use. It's from the United States Department of Agriculture, so it's a reliable source. It could have some bias in it if the government doesn't actually believe in global warming or not, but you can exploit their bias if you want to, or required to. It says a lot of the global warming stuff is more opinionated than factual. So it says in temperate zones, lizards are thought to be highly vulnerable to climate change. It doesn't say they are, it just says thought to be. So you could use that to your advantage or not. And the first sentence of the article says many reptiles are highly sensitive to the altered temperatures that may result from climate change due to their ectothermy, which requires that they rely on ambient environmental temperatures to maintain critical physiological processes. So you could use that quote and use bits and pieces of it and figure out what the physiological processes that they're referring to are, and then use that in your essay. And then if I thought I had enough information, I would likely look for some documents about against global warming and why, or in the science that they have for uh, why global warming is not real. So I'd probably search some something like global warming. Global warming hoax or something like that. There's just a lot of blogs on some hoaxes about global warming and people who don't believe it. So it seems like most scholarly sources or primary sources that you would use believe global warming is real and not a hoax. Most everyone who thinks it's a hoax is just someone writing a blog on here. So you could use that and say that there's not a lot of facts about global warming not existing. And say the only people who believe global warming does not exist are those that are not scholarly sources, because you cannot find a scholarly source with actual research that suggests that global warming is not an issue. There's one article it's a column from an author named John Hawkins on a website named townhall.com, which explains 5 reasons why global warming is not real. And it explains that there hasn't been any global warming since 1997, saying that the temperature of the planet has essentially been flat for 17 years. And I don't know where he got that from. It seems almost made up, but he says that the director of Climate Research Unit of the University of East Anglia admits that it's true. And since I don't know what the University of East Anglia is, he could be reaching for a fact in order to back up his argument. And almost all of his sources are articles along the same lines of his own that say many of the same things his does. So this is not a very good source to use unless you're arguing that global warming does in fact exist, and that people who don't think it exists don't have any facts to back up their side of the argument, which seems to be true. So I would likely use the first 3 sources I found in the government documents to support my argument that says that global warming is true and it's affecting reptiles and animals and climate change, and that those who think global warming is not true don't have actual factual information to prove why. So then I would likely move into writing the essay.